ignore my room, it's a mess. So, today I want to talk about self-forgiveness and some recent trouble I've been having with forgiving myself for past mistakes. Mostly because I this new job has been really hard for myself because I'm making a lot of mistakes because I'm new. And that's kind of a typical thing that most people do, but despite it being typical, it's not any easier to deal with, at least for me. So, I wanted to go into how I process forgiving myself and how I process those really hard moments and try and get them from stop like being in my head, because right now I'm in the middle of that right now. So because I'm still working on forgiving myself for something that happened. So real quick, I'm going to go over what happened. To be fair, I'm going to start off, it was not completely my fault. There was someone who had brought something into the treatment center that was not supposed to be there, and that is a glass bottle. Glass bottles aren't supposed to be in there, but I should have thought of that the second I touched it. But instead I thought, condiment bottle. Yeah, because that's what normal people think, but you're not supposed to think like what an everyday person would think when you're working in a treatment center. You're supposed to think, how can this be used by the people I'm taking care of? And to be fair, this was my second day as well. So what happened is the person that asked for the condiment bottle smashed it on the floor because it was glass, and proceeded to use the glass to, hurt themselves. And so that really hurt me because, one, I feel like my trust has been broken with that person, but also it's not entirely their fault either because they're there to be safe, and I feel like I failed at that. Another thing is that like everyone had to help me clean it up, and obviously they had to help the person not hurt themselves. And so it was really hard because it was not just I messed up, but I can deal with it myself. It was, I had to get everyone else involved. And so it was really, really tricky. The other thing is that it was something that I knew, like, I should have known better, because they took us through training and told us, hey, these are things that you need to keep in your mind, and this is what you need to be thinking about and working on thinking about in your brain is how is this going to affect this person. Always be on the lookout for dangerous items. And my brain just wasn't. But also, someone brought that onto campus when those are absolutely not allowed on campus. There's a few things that aren't allowed on campus. Glass bottles are one of them. And so it was just a really tricky thing. And I'm not the first person to have done that. I'm not going to be the last. But that doesn't necessarily make me feel any better about it. But that's the first thing I want to get to, is justifying how things, like giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. And at least for me, that's something that works really well. As you can clearly see, I've thought about this a lot because I'm bringing these things up as I'm talking about them, because that helps me forgive myself better. And it's really hard for me to forgive myself. I have a really bad past with that. And originally when this happened, I wanted to quit my job. I was so close to quitting on the spot, or at least, very least, after the hot sauce has been cleaned up, because it was hot sauce. After it had been cleaned up, I was like, oh no, I am just going to quit this job. I have to run away. I have to get away. I've messed up so bad that I don't deserve to work here anymore. Which isn't the case. Because, and in a perfect world, where you want the most perfect people working for you, obviously, yeah, I wouldn't have been working there because that would be a perfect world. In a perfect world, that wouldn't happen. But we're not in a perfect world. We're in a world where you have to get everyday, ordinary people to work for your job. Or work for your company. And so because of that, you're going to get mistakes. And so you have to kind of realize which mistakes are, the company realizes which mistakes are we going to let happen, which mistakes are going to happen regardless, which ones are worth them firing them over. And so I wasn't fired, and I didn't quit, and I'm still trying. I'm going into work tomorrow. I've been working there for about a week now. And it's tricky, but I am getting better at it. And so another thing that helps me with self-forgiveness is, besides giving the benefit of the doubt, is also remembering what people who love me say. Hi, Kasumi. Oh, really? Meow meow. You want to come be in the video? Come be in the video. This is Kasumi. She says hi. Being around my loved ones really helps. And telling them and getting their perspective. And everyone I talked to, except for one person, and to be fair, that person was really upset in the moment. Everyone I talked to said, hey, this wasn't necessarily your fault, or hey, you've learned from this now. And to be fair, I have learned from this now. I wish it could have gone better. But wishing it could have gone better isn't going to change anything. Things happened how they happened, and that's something I have to come to terms with. Also, running away from an issue doesn't fix it. If I had quit my job, I just would have felt even worse, because then I would be jobless and or having to go back to my old job, and so it would have not been the best outcome. Another thing that I like to go over when I am having trouble forgiving myself is, how would I feel if someone else made this mistake? And if someone else made that mistake, I'd be like, well, that was kind of stupid, but I'm not going to abandon them, and I'm not going to let them feel bad about themselves because of it. If it's a repeating mistake, that's a different story, but if it's a one-time thing. And now, that does bring back to the benefit of the doubt and reasons that this happened. I was not the one watching this girl. I mean, I was directly looking at her, but I wasn't her assigned person to watch. And so, it was a tricky thing. So, her person was across the room, and they have a history of being across the room from the people they're supposed to watch when you're supposed to be, like, within arm's length of them. And so it was really tricky. But, aside from that, that's kind of how I deal with self-forgiveness. I also like to repeat the good things that I'm doing, the positives that I'm having on these, like what I'm doing right in the job. But in that job, it would be the positives that I'm having on these girls' lives. And so that's been helping a lot. And also stepping away and taking a break. And then just time, because I need time to process things, and time is better at letting things heal. I wouldn't say time heals all wounds like they say, but it definitely makes it easier, So anyway, I'll be okay. Kasumi will be okay. She's doing great. That's Kasumi, by the way. That's my cat, Kasumi. She's pretty great. Maybe I'll do a video on just her story one of these days. That'd be kind of fun. Anyway, bye.